We go to them for help. We trust them. We rely on them to get the additional help that we need. And most of the time, you know what? It works out perfectly. Sometimes, however, they are just wrong. And when that happens, it can be devastating to us. In this video, I'll tell you what happened to me and what I'm doing about it, and how this really crappy, hard past year and a half has been a total nightmare in a lot of ways, but it has also been one of the greatest blessings of my life. Hi, I'm Karoline and my channel focuses on mindset, healing from trauma, and making the most out of life. So how does this story fit? Well, because what happened to me was actually really pretty stinking traumatic, but at the same time, it has also been the source of a ton of personal growth and healing. For you to see how it's become a blessing, though, I've got to tell you how hard it's been. So here's what happened. A couple of years ago, I had this crazy sudden headache in the middle of a walk around the park. It felt like someone had dropped on my head like an iron from 500 feet above. It was scary to the point that I thought I was going to die, and I immediately stopped in my tracks and I started praying, that I wasn't going to die. Not yet. I'm a single mom. I'm raising 3 kids on my own, and it's just not time for that. So it turns out that what I had, they call it a thunderclap or a sentinel headache, which is kind of like, a wake-up call that something is really, really wrong. And that something was an aneurysm. Thank goodness for that headache, because as I have gone through this experience, I can't tell you how many people have told me about someone they know who has died from a ruptured aneurysm, and that didn't happen to me. At first, it seemed like it was going to be okay, because the first doctor told me that it was small and that I should just go on about my life like normal. But then when I saw the neurosurgeon, he completely disagreed. He said that the MRI and the angiogram showed that the aneurysm was actually like twice the size than originally thought, and it was in a dangerous spot. So I needed to have a stent put in it. The placement of the stent went really well, but unfortunately it kicked off a month of terrible headaches, extreme fatigue, eventually resulting in me actually losing my speech so that I was babbling complete nonsense. When I landed in the hospital because I was speaking gibberish, the doctors, including my neurosurgeon, had no idea what was happening and ran every test imaginable on me to find out why my brain had so much inflammation. They finally found obscure studies that showed that very rarely people will react adversely to stent placement in the brain. Lucky me. When I was in the hospital, and even in the months that followed, it never really occurred to me how close to death I had come. In fact, I don't even remember that whole first day and a half in the hospital, because I was completely out of my mind. And I wasn't able to communicate, and I was just kind of staring off into space like a zombie. I'm very, very, very grateful to be alive. But the past year and a half since then, it has not been a walk in the park. The doctors honestly don't really know what to do with me, because there just isn't enough research on this. So once I came off the steroids, which was helping, there's nothing left to do except give my brain time to heal and hope that it actually does heal. The good news is that I am fully functional. I'm at least functional as long as I rest my brain lots during the day. When I don't pay attention to the signals my brain gives me that it is getting tired, I start to lose my speech by jumbling up my words and stammering, or just blanking out on the word that I'm trying to say. If I keep pushing through, even when that starts happening, I just start getting dazed. Like I feel like I've taken an enormous amount of Benadryl. And it takes me 1 to 3 days to recover if I let it go that far. So, for example, halfway through our Christmas evening celebration, I had to climb into bed and shut my eyes and pretty much be non-communicative for the rest of the night. And I didn't bounce back for 4 days afterwards because I had pushed myself too far the previous 3 days. It's really hard for people to see or tell that I have a problem because I don't let myself get that bad. And because when I do get that bad, I'm not around people. I go to bed. All the way through this terrible experience, I've had amazing doctors, very compassionate doctors, and I have been very, very well taken care of. That is until it was time for me to get the neuropsychological evaluation. The doctor who did the evaluation didn't listen to anything I said about how much rest I have to get in order to maintain normal functioning or how long it takes for me to recover when I push too far. She ignored all of the signs of my cognitive fatigue that was showing right in front of her face as I struggled with a terrible headache, as my eyes were squinting and puffy, which is what happens when I get really fatigued. She didn't care that I had to repeat several times the instructions that she was giving me, or struggled to do tasks and taking way longer than maybe what is normal, or that I struggled to complete several of the tasks that I had to do when I was there for the 5 hours that I spent there. What she cared about, however, was that I was fat. And the reason I know that is because she kept bringing up my weight in our follow-up appointment. She literally mentioned my weight like 15 times in the 15 minutes when we talked. She didn't outright accuse me of being lazy and not trying, but she alluded to it. She was belittling and she was snarky, and she blamed my childhood trauma and the history of depression that I have as the reason why I was having so much brain fatigue. Oh my gosh. I literally have brain scans that show the damage. And cognitive fatigue is a real thing. I have a sister and a friend who had suffered concussions this past year, and 9 months later, they still have struggles with their brain functioning at times. The brain takes a really long time to heal because it's in charge of so much of what we do during the day. And even at night when we're sleeping, it's busy. It really never gets a break. So healing really takes a lot longer. Is it so hard to believe that my brain, with the massive amount of inflammation and damage that was done, is still healing? And as my neurologist told me, there are studies that show that 13% of the folks who have this happen to them don't ever fully recover. What can any of these facts possibly have to do with my past depression and traumatic childhood? I have worked my butt off to heal. I have taken medication. I have tried natural supplements, brain exercises, therapy appointments, you name it. I have tried it to speed the healing along. But she wouldn't listen to any of that. She just looked at me and saw a fat person and sized me up as lazy and not trying hard enough, but basically accused me of trying to work the system. Believe me, I would rather go back to work and get back to my normal life. Are you kidding me? This sucks, having to interrupt my day all day long to go and rest constantly. The worst part was that she wrote all of her opinions up in her medical, report, and that is what my insurance company used to justify terminating my long-term disability payments, which, in their point of view, makes total sense because, it is an insurance company and it is in their best interest to find any reason that they can to not pay me. One day I had money coming in to help and support us while my brain heals, and the next day I had nothing, which maybe wouldn't be quite as much of a problem if I didn't have the fact that I have a brain that only likes to function when it wants to and requires me to rest a ton during the day. So going back to work is just not going to work. Yes, I am in the middle of an appeal with the insurance company. To their credit, they have actually listened to me when I said that her report was biased. That, combined with their own review of the actual test results, they tell me that they are consulting with another provider for a second opinion. I can only hope that they make the right decision and reinstate my disability payments. Not because I want to live on disability the rest of my life, but because I actually have a serious problem that is preventing me from working. So what's my plan? How are things getting better? Well, I'm working on getting my own business up and running, including starting this channel. Why? because it's something that I can do when my brain lets me do it. If I need to take a nap or 2 naps or sometimes 3 naps in the middle of the day, I can do that if I own my own online business. If I need to take 3 or 4 days off because I accidentally pushed myself too hard, like I did this weekend, I can do that with my own business. But as everyone knows, businesses take time to get off the ground and start generating money, especially enough money to replace a full-time income. And that process is further complicated by, again, the fact that I'm dealing with this brain and a limited brain capacity, which of course is slowing things down considerably. No, I don't want to get disability forever, just long enough to give me more time to heal and adjust to this new life that I am now having to live. While it may seem like I'm complaining a lot, I am, I know, but I also want to tell you about the blessings that have come about because of all of this. When I found out about my disability being canceled, at first I was in a complete, total state of shock and depression. This is seriously not a good time to lose income for me when I already went through a year of receiving only partial income while on disability and all of the medical bills. But on the other hand, because my situation is so dire, like I literally have no money coming in, it has forced me to snap out of it and get my crap together fast. And because of that, I had to take a good, long, hard look at what I can do to help myself get out of this, which actually brought up a lot of insecurities, and it led me to understand some really negative beliefs that I have about myself, like that I feel like a total loser. I have had to challenge those beliefs and the insecurities, not only challenge them, but work really hard at getting over them and fast. And I've had to stretch and grow myself as a person so I can rise to the challenge of supporting us despite my disability. It has been one of the greatest gifts of my life. In the past few months, I have had to face my own demons and work through them and come out on top. I am happier, more confident, more secure, and excited about life and future possibilities than I have ever been. This is probably a good time to mention that in my coming videos, I will be sharing the things that I've learned during this time period specifically, as well as the tools and the resources that I have used to make all of this growth possible. So make sure that you're subscribed so you'll be the first to know when those posts come out. The personal growth is not all that has been a wonderful benefit of this hard time. It turns out that this experience has actually forced me to have to do what I always have wanted to do, and that is to have my own business. I'm literally being forced into living one of my dreams because I can't rely on a 9-to-5 job anymore. This is not how I pictured it happening. I was hoping for a nice, secure transition into running my own business while I was still bringing in money. But you know what? This is okay. I have grown so much in my trust in myself and in God. I don't know what your personal beliefs are or who your higher power is, but for me, I believe in a loving Heavenly Father, and I believe that He has a plan for me. And I believe that He wouldn't be letting these things happen to me if He didn't know that I could handle them and that I can come out on top. That all of this is somehow working for my highest good. This situation has pushed me to lean into those beliefs and connect more deeply with them. I feel so empowered and encouraged because of that. So I know that maybe it seems like I did a lot of complaining just now and that I was focusing on my sob story. But that was not my intent. The reason that I made this video is because I'm hoping to help inspire you and others to find the good things that are in the hard things and to make them into something that grows you and helps you to become stronger, more confident, more connected to your source of inspiration and power. I'm hoping that you know that there is a silver lining in all the hard things that we go through if we just look for it. I decided to look for it, and although things are still tough and I'm not out of the woods yet, I feel happy and I feel calm and I feel secure in my future. And that is huge. I hope you know that you deserve the very best in life, even when it might look like life isn't handing the very best to you right at this moment. Things are always working towards your best good. So lean into that. Believe that it will work out because you know what? It always does. Thanks for spending time with me today. I'm glad you're here. Don't forget to subscribe so you know when I post again. Take care, and I hope to see you again soon.